the more important, the guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pope. Ladies and gentlemen, the President. Ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Giovanni. She really needs no introduction. But before I get to Nikki Giovanni, who I'm honored to have back on this program, I consider it a signal honor and a seminal honor every time we are in dialogue that I get a chance to talk to Nikki Giovanni one more again. One more again. I've done it so many times in my career. Nikki and I together in public conversations, private dialogues, on the phone, on the stage, but it's never lost on me who she is in the culture. And I get goosebumps every time I'm in dialogue with my friend Nikki Giovanni. Before I get to her, I'm going to play a few of these clips as we move through this hour. I invited her on today because in just a few days from now, specifically August the 2nd, we will celebrate the 100th natal day of James Baldwin. August 2nd, we will be celebrating the 100th birthday of her friend James Baldwin, Jimmy, as she often referred to him, as his close friends did. And this conversation that they had over a half century ago, recorded live in Europe, played on television here in the States. You can find it on Google. But if you've never seen this classic conversation with Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin, then there's a missing piece to your life. You have to hear in its fullness this conversation between Nikki and James Baldwin. Here now, though, just a taste of this conversation. Again, we'll play a few clips as we move through this hour celebrating James Baldwin.
Between morality and power is a very subtle one, because power, ultimately, with no morality, is not any longer power. You cannot call Spain a powerful nation. You can't call Franco a powerful man. He's got a whole nation in jail, but that's not power.
No.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No.
His game isn't running.
Precisely. Now, when our game starts running, and after all, baby, we have survived the roughest game in the history of the world.
Yeah.
We really have. No matter what we say against ourselves, no matter what our limits and hang-ups are, we have come through something, and if we can get this far, we can get further. And we got this far by means which no one understands, including you and me. We're only beginning to apprehend it, and you're a poet precisely because you are beginning to apprehend it and put it into a form, which will be useful for your kid and his kid, and for the world. Because we're not obliged to accept the world's definitions. Just because white people say they're white, we're not obliged to believe it. Just because the Pope says he's a Christian, we're not obliged to believe it.
And we'd be crazy if we did.
We have to make our own definitions and begin to rule the world that way. Because kids, white and black, cannot use what they have been given.
And they're rejecting it.
They're rejecting it. Nobody wants to become the president of Pan Am, or the governor of California, or Spiro Agnew. The kids want to live. Yeah. And we have, out of a terrifying suffering, a certain sense of life which everybody needs. And that's morality for me.
Nikki Giovanni, every time I hear that conversation, and I go back to it often, I am always struck by the richness and the relevance of it, even in real time. It is always a delight, as I said earlier, to be in dialogue with you. How are you doing, for starters?
Well, I'm hanging in. I've had a bit of pneumonia that I'm having some trouble shaking, but other than that, I'm hanging in. I'm fine. It's good talking to you. I definitely wanted to talk to you, and I'm very happy to celebrate Jimmy's birthday.
No, I'm honored.
I think it's important that we always remember the people who laid this path for us. Yeah. And certainly he is one of them.
No question about that. I read a piece just to get us started. We'll get to Jimmy and to you and that conversation and so much other stuff in this hour. Let me start with this. I was reading a piece the other day. I think it was in The Guardian, where you said at 80, I still feel a lot of anger. I'm watching my clock now. I don't want you to get started. I have to cut you off. But you said at 80, I still feel a lot of anger. So you know the obvious question, right? What is Nikki Giovanni so angry about at 80? We'll let her unpack that when we come forward and get this conversation really started for real on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey LA, today I'm here to talk to you about Grid Alternatives, which is a nonprofit in LA that focuses on renewable energy. We serve communities who have been left out of the renewable energy sector. We offer paid job training, and in 13 weeks, you can become a solar installer. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry, and once you're hired in the industry, you stop at a high, medium income. That could be $20 an hour or more. 80% of our graduates get hired into the industry. Call today so you don't be left out at 323-861-0105 or gridalternatives.org, gridalternatives.org.
Have you noticed the hype around retinol lately? It's all over my social media. But did you know you can get retinol in a body wash? Amazing, right? Olay Retinol Body Wash is packed with moisturizing vitamin B3 complex plus retinol to transform dry skin to visibly renewed in just 14 days. Try it the next time you shower and see the difference for yourself with Olay Retinol Body Wash for visibly renewed skin in just 14 days. And try Olay Retinol 24 Body Lotion.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road? How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter in 73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Who do you trust to get at the truth?
Tavis Smiley.
That's who. The conversation continues right now.
All I know that works in the world is a relationship.
Yes, all right.
Okay, that's all that's going to work. It takes two people to have a relationship.
Yeah, but the relationship.
If you don't have a dream, fake it.
But the relationship, you can't fake a dream.
You got to fake it, because we don't have dreams these days. How the hell can you have a dream? For what?
Well, it isn't.
So everybody's jiving, but let's jive on that level.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me, and you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. What Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
All right, I accept that.
Of course you'll lie to me, because I don't even want to care. What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat you the way I treat him.
You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell. Because I love you, I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man? For 10 years, so that we can get a child on his feet that says, yeah, father smiled at mother. He talked to me about school today. Who cares that you can read or can't read? Most Americans can't read. Most people can't read. They look at the pictures.
Nikki Giovanni, Nikki, how remind me, I want to say 27. Remind me how old you were, how young you were when you did that conversation with James Baldwin.
I think I was 28.
28? And how old was Baldwin then?
27 or 28, yeah.
How old was Baldwin then?
Then he was
about 60?
20 years older than I was. Yeah. So there was if I was 27, then he was 47.
47, okay, not quite.
It was a 20-year
20-year gap.
Yeah. It was very kind of Jimmy to spend time with me, because he was an important writer and I had only written 2 books,
Yeah.
and I'm just a poet. So he was a great essayist and novelist
Yeah.
and well known. So I thought it was very kind of him to agree to have a conversation with me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was listening to it. It was fun.
Every time I hear it, though, Nikki, particularly that clip, I think about the. And again, none of these words may resonate with you, and I'm happy. You're the brilliant writer here, so I'm happy to have you disabuse me of any of these words that I'm using, or this notion that I'm about to express, for that matter. But every time I hear you, and I am reminded of this 20-year age gap and the respect we all have for our elders, and clearly it was a respectful conversation. And you pulled Jimmy across the line a couple times in that conversation for him to acknowledge that he understood your particular point of view. But the fact that you were able to express yourself, to articulate yourself with respect, with love, with dignity, with honor for his humanity, but to do that at 27 or 28, to hold your own in that way, to not be intimidated by Jimmy Baldwin in that moment. Tell me more about that part, Nikki.
Well, I wasn't intimidated, but I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want him to say, why am I talking to this crazy girl?
Yeah.
And it just seemed that some issues had to be brought up, and that was one of them. The idea of, why do I get the worst of you? And I think that's still a question. And we're looking now, of course, at the young men shooting each other, killing each other.
Yeah.
And you're saying, well, why are Black boys getting the worst of each other? Why are 16, 17-year-olds shooting each other? That's illogical. It doesn't make sense. And it's a lot of things that still the older men need to take on.
Yeah.
They need to raise these questions with these young men. They're not doing their fair share, in other words, and that's fair to say.
Yeah. Is it your view, 50 plus years after that conversation, that iconic conversation with James Baldwin, is it your view that Black women in real time here in late modernity are still getting too often the worst of Black men?
I think that we're not getting the support that we should. And when we start to look, we just recently had a killing here in Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman, the cop killed her because he said, I thought she was going to throw hot water on me. But it's that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it. It doesn't make sense. And we had a young man, a basketball player, who was down in South Carolina with his team, and all he wanted to do in life actually was to be able to play basketball, to take care of his mother and his take care of what his father was not taking care of. And someone shot him, someone killed him. And you have to say, well, why did they do that? Now we can find a motive, because it probably had something to do with, they wanted him to, sell some drugs or do something that he didn't want to do. But the reality is, it was his aunt that said, this was a great kid. Why is he dead? And it's his mother and his other female relatives who are complaining about this death. And I'm very, very happy that one of the lawyers that they have, the lawyer that they have, is Mr. Crump.
Yeah, Ben
because
Crump.
He's
Yeah.
a great lawyer.
Yeah.
And money won't change it, but he will make them pay for it. And I'm glad. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad about that. But something's wrong, that the Black community is being crazy. I'm so happy, Tavis, that Ms. Harris, Vice President Harris,
Sure.
is going to be our nominee.
Yeah.
And I think that she can beat Donald Trump, because I think anybody can beat Donald Trump. But I know that Black women already, we had a meeting, and I say we, I mean Black women had that, 80 women got together, and they're like, no, we got to get to work. Right. And Black women are going to see to it that Miss Harris becomes President Harris. And
Yep.
It's going to be the Black women. And I'm not saying that black men won't, because black men will. There'll be you, there are other people, but I'm just saying, I'm so glad that the black women are saying, no, we're gonna do it. We're not afraid of having a black woman be president of the United States.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people are.
Yeah.
A lot of white guys are,
Yeah.
and a lot of some white women
Yeah.
are afraid of what does it mean. But what it will mean is that the United States will be a better place.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm a Delta, and of course the Deltas in 1913 are the people who went out to say black women have to have a right to vote.
That's right.
And we did it. And of course, the Vice President Harris is Kamala Harris is a AKA, so she's our mother sorority. But we have our little sisters, our Zetas, but the Divine Nine,
Yes.
all of the Divine
Yep.
Nine, men and women, are what elected Biden, and we're going to elect Harris.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about that.
No, I was heartened this week, as I'm sure you were. Earlier this week, we had that call with all these black women. 44,000 on this one big Zoom call. Nikki Giovanni's talking to me on Zoom right now, but it's just her and me. There were 44,000 black women on a Zoom call earlier this week. And then right after that, 56,000 black men on a call. Raising money for Kamala Harris. So in that sense, I hope that Kamala Harris isn't getting the worst of black men because they seem to be poised to support her in this campaign. I talked to Ben. You mentioned Ben Crump. I talked to Ben Crump yesterday. We'll get him on here in a couple of days. But he and I talked on the phone yesterday about this case that he's out front on. And I agree, Ben's a good guy, and you can't bring him back, but you can certainly make him pay. And Ben Crump will do that, no question about it. It occurs to me to ask you this. And it's a strange question, but not the first or last strange question I've ever asked Nikki Giovanni. And I'm going to get to why you're so angry at 80 here in just a second. But after 80 years of living, your anger notwithstanding, again, put a pin in that. And not that you would have had a choice in this, but after all that you have endured, all the hell that you've caught as a black woman, all the pushback, all the patriarchy, all the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, if you could do it over again and tell God how you wanted to come back, would you want it to be anything other than a black woman?
Oh, no, I definitely, I say it all the time. I definitely want to be a black woman. And I think that we're the best thing on earth. And I'm really hoping, though I have nothing to do with it, I'm really hoping that she chooses the astronaut, Giffords, for her vice president.
Mark Kelly.
Yeah,
Giffords' husband,
it's about time we got somebody from outer space to come back and say, this is what Earth looks like. So it's about time we, moved on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the campaign. And I don't mean to pick on black men either.
Sure.
I'm just saying I worry sometimes about the young men shooting each other. I live in Virginia, and we've had a lot of killing. But I'm so proud of all of us because we're going to carry this thing, and we're going to win it.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants nobody wants another Nazi. We've had the war. We've had World War I and II, and it's time that we admitted, okay, we don't need any more hatred.
Yeah,
It's time for the black people to take over.
I think Nikki Giovanni, as she always does, just gave us a bumper sticker. Nobody wants another Nazi. That sounds like a bumper sticker to me if ever there was one. Nobody wants another Nazi. I hear you loud and clear, Nikki Giovanni. Now, to this Guardian piece that I read, that I referenced earlier, where you say I'm 80, or at 80, I still feel a lot of anger. What you angry about at 80, Nikki Giovanni?
Oh, God, everything is a mess right now. And not everything, but it's a lot of mess. I didn't realize how angry I was until I watched, there was a documentary on me called Going to Mars.
Oh, yeah.
And I finally sat down and watched it. I didn't have anything to do with it because I had faith in the producers. And I thought, if I'm going to let them do a life story, then get out of the way. And so I did. But then when I sat down and watched it, I realized, oh, gee, she's really still angry. And there are a lot of things that, what's going on with Israel and Hamas, that's genocide. and Israel is going to have to answer for that. And I think that that's sad. But we have, we're just beginning to settle down in Haiti. I think that the world can be a better place. And I guess I'm still angry that we have not moved at the rate that I would like to have seen them move. I think of myself as a patient person. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, you think, well, look at our generation, Tavis. Look at all we did, and we've gotten a lot done. I'm very pleased with some of the progress. But on the other hand, we could do so much better.
Yeah.
And we're still looking at the world as if we could divide it, and we can't. We live on an earth that is in space, and we are all a part of the earth. And I think it's time we really started to teach that.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing that the next generation will learn or must learn is that we are earthlings, which is why I'm very much in favor of getting an astronaut into the White House.
Yeah, no,
because
I
think that having him there with Kamala will be the perfect team to make people begin to realize, oh, we all are on this together.
Yeah.
We all have air that we breathe. We have water that we drink. We are sharing this life. And I think that these two people, and that is not that others can't, because
sure,
I'm going to vote for the others anyway. But I just think it'd be nice to have somebody who has been out into space who says, but I saw this ball, and I saw that we were just a blue ball in space. And it's time that we recognize that the most important thing that we do is that we live on this ball together.
yeah. Let me ask you this. I think I know the answer, but I want to ask anyway. When you achieve the age of 80, and you say that there's still so much to do, and you still feel some anger about what has not been done, I don't think you mean to suggest, I just want to make sure I'm clear, that you don't think your particular struggle was worth it. You don't have regrets, do you?
Oh, no, I think we did a great job. I'm so proud of my generation. I really am.
Right.
And I'm proud of the generations that have come before us. Where now we just recently, as you know, recognized the Black soldiers for who landed in Dunkirk. And you think, well, when did you plan to do that? We have to recognize the sacrifices that people have made. And we have to recognize the hopes and the dreams that people go forward for. And we have to also be supportive of that. So I don't have that problem. But you do just know that there are some things that, and they're not big things, Tavis. It's a little thing to say. If somebody says, well, there's an old spiritual that says, if anybody asks you who you are, tell them you're a child of God.
Yeah.
And I want that answer to also be, if anybody asks you who you are, tell them you're an earthling. And just start from pre-kindergarten. I'm an earthling. I'm not Black. I'm not white. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I'm not a Jew. I'm not a Gentile. I am an earthling. And just get that in somebody's head, that we belong to this planet.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be a big step in helping us to become, and I say us, I mean the earthlings, to become better people. Because we live in a galaxy, life forms that we have not actually wanted to acknowledge.
Yeah. Nope, Nikki Giovanni is doing it once again, as she always does, making me think, pressing me to re-examine the assumptions I hold, to expand my inventory of ideas, to look at the world and to look at life. Look at our inhabiting this planet through a different lens, always pushing, even at 80, to get me to think differently. I love her for it. Pleased to be in dialogue right now, once again, with Nikki Giovanni. We'll talk more about James Baldwin and his monumental contributions to this nation in written letters and beyond. Just delighted to be with Nikki once again on Tavis Smiley.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A reminder, tonight President Biden's address to America can be heard live on BIN at 8 p.m. Eastern. The vetting process for potential running mates for Kamala Harris's presidential run is underway. The campaign has requested vetting materials from several potential running mates to join the vice president on the Democratic ticket, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. Tennis star Coco Gauff will be Team USA's female flag bearer at the Olympics opening ceremony. The African-American star will carry the flag alongside LeBron James. Gauff is the first U.S. tennis player to receive the honor of being a flag bearer. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Snoop Dogg will be one of the last celebrities to carry the Olympic torch Friday night to kick off the Summer Olympics opening ceremonies in Paris. Carrying the infamous torch is a long-standing tradition to officially start the Olympic Games. Organizers have yet to announce the last person who will carry the torch into the Olympic Stadium to light the flame. A new era for the Chargers begins today under new coach Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers begin their training camp today in El Segundo. Las Vegas oddsmakers are predicting only 8 wins for the Chargers. Harbaugh is used to winning. He's coming off an undefeated and national championship season at Michigan. The 49ers were 6-10 the year before Harbaugh became their head coach. The next season in 2011, the 49ers were 13-3 and made it to the NFC Championship game. They were in the Super Bowl the following year. Do not sleep on Jim Harbaugh. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
The best nugs are now even better. Wendy's new saucy nugs take the nugs you love and sauce them up in bold flavors, including buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, and spicy ghost pepper. Try them all today. For a whole new way to nug, it's gotta be Wendy's, a participating U.S. Wendy's.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything.
Nothing is Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarships/official rules.
Smart talk for curious people just like you. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Nikki Giovanni. We are blessed once again to have her voice come through these airwaves, inspiring us, empowering us, enlightening us, challenging us. I love it all, and always, again, just humbled to be in dialogue with Nikki Giovanni one more again. I was just saying, Nikki, to my staff here in the studio, what a day I had yesterday. It was a long, tough day. And near the end of the day, one of my assistants walks into my office with a big box and some other mail. And I just said, put the box on the floor and I'll get to it. And they put the box on the floor. And then later last evening, I realized I hadn't opened the box. So I went to open the box, and there in the box, and you know how this works. You've done this many times in your career, Nikki Giovanni. When you write a new book, the publisher sends you initially one big box of books just to put a smile on your face to let you know that the baby has been birthed. And here is the first box, a first edition set of your new book. I think the audience knows, I've mentioned it once or twice, that this is the 20th anniversary of the covenant with Black America. And so I've been for the last year, in between radio interviews and everything else I'm doing, working on this 20th anniversary edition of The Covenant with Black America, this book that came out, shot to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, the first book by a black publisher to do so, stayed there for a number of weeks, sold millions and millions of copies, The Covenant with Black America. And so now, just a few weeks from now, we will release The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. And so last night I had a big smile on my face and got on my knees and thanked God for another opportunity to try to do my part to make a difference, to push our people a little bit more in the forward direction. But I sat there last night just kind of thumbing through the book, this 20th anniversary edition of The Covenant. I raised that because I reached out to a friend of mine to ask her if she would honor me by writing the afterword to the 20th anniversary edition of this book. That friend's name is Nikki Giovanni. And Nikki Giovanni did as I asked her. I cried when she said yes, but when I saw it, I just gave up all kind of water. Because when I read the piece that Nikki Giovanni sent to me and then forwarded to the publisher to be included as the afterword in the book, it just hit me what it means to have an original poem from Nikki Giovanni in one of my books. The poem is titled, you gotta love this, My Contract with America, or is that America's contract on Negroes? My contract with America, or is that America's contract on Negroes? And I dare not read it to you because I couldn't get through it without breaking down. But it's just so rich. I raised that, Nikki, in this public domain because I want to just say, again, for everybody here, thank you, thank you, thank you for writing this afterword, for writing this poem. It is richer than rich, and I can't wait for folk to get the book, to consider the issues that matter to black people 20 years later, the progress we've made or not. But to get to the end of the book and to read an original poem by Nikki Giovanni just does something to me. So, Nikki, thank you. I love you for this.
Oh no, thank you for asking me. It was a pleasure, and of course, I've always enjoyed the work that you do, Tavis. But thank you for asking me. It was my pleasure, totally, to be a part of it. And what we've done, what we continue. I was laughing because the last time we talked, I said the one thing that you and I have in common is that we both like black people, and not that everybody doesn't, but a
Yeah.
lot of people don't. And
Yep.
it's kind of nice to talk to somebody that just likes black people and just deals with them with us
Yeah.
as honestly and actually as lovingly as we can. And Jimmy did that.
Yes.
And we were talking about Baldwin, but Jimmy did that. Jimmy was honest, and he loved black people, but he loved a lot of people. He loved people, but he really did reach out to say, "This is the way we're feeling," and that's a wonderful thing. And there's some young writers I know coming up who are saying the same thing. I'm just going to be as honest as I can. I hope that other people like it. If they don't, I understand. And they go on. I think that that's so important, to be yourself. I think that that's so important. And I think that that's what Jimmy has taught all of the young writers, really.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Why do you why do you think that is? And maybe why is the wrong question, but what is it about James Baldwin that is so rich, that is so resonant all these years later? I ask that in part, Nikki, because as you know, over the last few years, there's been sort of a James Baldwin renaissance. I mean, I don't know what happened, but over the last decade or so, everybody's discovering James Baldwin. I kid you not. I had a white woman on this program yesterday, brilliant professor, and has written a powerful piece called "Is Democracy on the Ballot?" What's her name, Faraz? Give me the professor's name again. What's her name? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Susan McWilliams Barnt, for those listening yesterday. I can't keep up because I had 10 guests yesterday on this program. But Susan McWilliams Barnt, brilliant professor, wrote a powerful piece called "Is Democracy on the Ballot?" And we had her on yesterday, and she's breaking this thing down. I mean, she killed it, a white sister, but she was brilliant yesterday. And at some point in the conversation, she says, Baldwin would put it this way. And she goes on to quote Jimmy Baldwin, and she says that James Baldwin is my North Star. And I told her, any white woman for whom James Baldwin is your North Star, you okay with me. But it was just, it cracked me up because white, black, other, everybody is discovering James Baldwin all of a sudden. What happened, Nikki? What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, there's something about genius.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that we know genius when we see it. It takes a while for people to finally say, "Oh, that's genius." We recognize, oh, that Einstein, corrected or found something. But Jimmy also discovered something, and genius will always come out. And that's a reality. So I'm glad, and I wish he were here to enjoy some of it.
Yeah.
If it's two people that we miss right now, it's Jimmy Baldwin and Nina Simone, because both of them brought us a genius to their art, and they brought it in a way that somebody else said it recently, and I'm sorry to say I can't remember who, and she said, "Well, all I want to do is learn to play the piano like Nina Simone." And I thought, wow, that's a good thing to want to do, because Nina played a great piano.
Yeah.
But watching, and I was very fortunate, just because of my age, I think I was very fortunate to know both Nina and Jimmy, and to be able to see them together and to have meals with them and to have laughter with them. And these were two great people.
Yeah.
And it's important to recognize genius when you see it.
Oh yeah.
When you hear it.
Oh yeah.
When you recognize that something has happened here that's wonderful, and you have to sort of take it in and say, well, where are we going next? And that's what both of them did.
Yeah, I have not, did not have the honor of hanging out and having meals and conversations with Nina Simone or James Baldwin. That's why I am so grateful that I've had that honor many times with Nikki Giovanni. When we come forward, I do want to ask her what she thinks Baldwin, as she knew him so well, would make of this particular American moment. We've heard her expression about what this moment means in America, but if Baldwin were here now, all the Kamala stuff, the Middle East stuff, I mean, I don't want to box her in, but I'm just curious as to how she think Baldwin might be navigating or writing, as it were, essaying about this particular moment. And I mentioned that everybody's discovering Baldwin. When we come forward, I'm sure Nikki's heard this, but Rhyme Fest was a guest on this program some weeks ago, and he has music out now. He's actually taken the words of Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin in that iconic conversation over a half century ago as we push toward the 100th birthday of James Baldwin on August the 2nd. Rhymefest took some words and put music to it. I'm going to play a little bit of that for you if you've not heard what Rhymefest did with the words of Nikki and Jimmy. We'll do that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Just a few short months ago, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed 11 felony charges against Diana Turan, an assistant district attorney for Los Angeles County. The charges allege that Turan unlawfully accessed confidential computer data, including police officer files in 2018, and continued to use them after joining the DA's office in 2021. Ironically, Turan, who is now on administrative leave, oversaw the Public Integrity Division responsible for handling high-profile cases of police misconduct and public corruption, including the charges brought against LA City Council member Karen Price last June. To be sure, the case against Price has raised plenty of eyebrows. Indeed, one noted legal scholar has said publicly, and I quote, "Everything about this prosecution reeks," close quote. Could A.G. Bonta, with aspirations to become California governor, be punishing Turan for her role in D.A. George Gascon's police accountability agenda to curry favor with police unions? Could D.A. Gascon be using the case against Price to showcase his tough stance on crime and political corruption as he vies to retain his seat as D.A.? Honestly, I have no idea, but here's what I know for sure. Karen Price has been elected and re-elected by thousands of voters, mostly black and brown, who stand to be further disenfranchised if this matter is not handled correctly, which is why it matters to us at KBLA Talk 1580. When the prosecutor is being prosecuted, it seems to me that at the very least, there ought to be a thorough, top-to-bottom, independent review of all cases under Diana Turan's purview to ensure that none of these cases have been tainted. Justice and fundamental fairness demand no less, if public trust truly matters. And I hope it does. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your feedback.
Let's get back to more of Tavis Smiley right now.
Everybody is discovering Nikki Giovanni and James Ball in this classic conversation over a half century ago. You heard Nikki say a moment ago, you got to recognize genius. She is a genius in her own right, and that's why I recognize it and always honored to be in conversation with her. But this is a piece from Rhyme Fest, a track from Rhyme Fest called Triggered, where he uses the words of Nikki and Jimmy. Take a listen.
My theory is that the world divides into sort of like intelligent and dumb, weak and strong, which is awful. I mean, it's really awful for me to say things like that. But there's so many stupid people.
It divides not so much between the stupid and the bright, because most bright people I've encountered, many, are wicked.
There's trauma and then there's peace, and there's a little bridge you build between the body and relief. It's how I sleep under the cannons, running plays with the dragons, cresting waves with the kraken. Believe me, it's not all fiction. Poetry in motion to galvanize the descriptions of safe harbors. When even safe has its limits, hard to play possum when you're both the sufferer and witness. There's a part of me I don't want to see. It's in the place within my soul where my primitive monster grieves. Triggered by what I read or see. Dangers in the room and it's not you, it's me.
Go through your life for a long time, you think that no one has ever suffered the way I've suffered. You know, my God. And then you realize that your suffering does not isolate you. Your suffering is your bridge. That many people have suffered before you. Many people are suffering around you. And always will. And all you can do is bring, hopefully.
I leaned on you under pressure, broke your heart in pieces and glued it all back together.
Just want to give you a little taste of Rhyme Fest and that track called Triggered, featuring the words of Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin in this classic conversation over 50 years ago. When we come forward, our remaining moments with Nikki Giovanni, we'll get her take on that track, Triggered, and a few other things we'll cover between now and the top of the hour. So honored to be in dialogue with the one and only, the iconic Nikki Giovanni.
Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
So rich.
indulgent, wrapping my skin in softness. It's Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. My new go-to for silky smooth skin in my shower. With Olay Indulgent Moisture, my skin said bye-bye dry, hello glow in just 14 days. Indulge with Olay Body Wash.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now.
More of Tavis Smiley and Nikki Giovanni coming your way right now. Just about 4 minutes left in this conversation, which has been rich. Nikki, when you hear these younger artists of today just doing what they do, their own unique and particular genius, like Rhyme Fest on that track, Triggered, using the words of you and Jimmy, what do you think?
I'm really pleased that the youngsters are listening to us and finding a way to use us. I got a question for you, though.
Sure.
Am I the only person that thinks that the so-called assassination attempt of Donald Trump was a joke?
No, you are not the only person. You're not the only one.
Am I the only person that thinks that was some kind of I don't believe that anybody shot at him. And I have a problem with that. And I thought, well, I'll ask you, and you can ask your people. Are you the only one that? How do you shoot an ear, and you kill somebody, and you kill somebody else, and you get this ear? I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Let me.
I just thought, well, I'm talking to you, and you talk to people. Maybe somebody will write in and say, well, Nikki's crazy. Of course they tried to kill him. But I have a problem with that.
I will tell you this. I would tell you this, and I don't normally violate confidences. I'm only saying it now because it's already out there publicly anyway. But I was talking to Amanda Seals yesterday, and Amanda is catching all kind of hell and getting pushback. She called me yesterday, and we talked for a while yesterday. Because Amanda has expressed that point of view and some other things that people don't necessarily agree with. And she's having speeches that are canceled now, appearances that are being canceled. So Amanda is experiencing the kind of pushback to her expressing a similar point of view. That's my way of saying, no, you are not the only one who sees it that way, Nikki Giovanni, for what it's worth. I just want to give you a direct answer to your question. I got 2 minutes left here. Any sense of how Jimmy Baldwin would be processing this moment?
I think that Jimmy would be coming straight out and saying probably pretty much what we're saying, because some things just don't make sense. And I think that we're looking at a changing world. I am pleased to see that Vice President Kamala Harris will be carrying the banner.
Yeah.
As I'm pleased to see Black women moving forward, as I'm pleased to see Black people moving forward. But I think that Jimmy would be saying pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Like what really is going on here?
Yeah.
And we have to look at it truthfully.
Yeah.
We can't just accept what somebody else is saying because it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Speaking of going, her documentary is called Going to Mars. Cue that track up, Miles. I'm going to close with some Tina Marie. Everybody loves to shout out Nikki Giovanni. You recall in Square Biz, Tina Marie did it beautifully. So we're going to close with Tina Marie after I tell you that Going to Mars is an HBO documentary. If you've not seen it, I invite you to check it out. You will not be disappointed in this wonderful piece about Nikki Giovanni's work and witness. Nikki, I'm out of time. I love you. I love you. I love you. We'll do it again. Stay strong. I'll talk to you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, do it again. Until then, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A reminder, tonight President Biden's address to America can be heard live on BIN at 8 p.m. Eastern.